Hey you guys, it's Mish. Welcome back to my channel. I truly appreciate you for deciding to click on this video. If you haven't already, or if you're not, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and become one of my subscribers. I would truly appreciate it. We're going to be going over my January budget. If you're new here to the channel, in my debt-free journey, whatever you want to call it, that's what I like to call it. I have about $35,000 left in student loans, and I'm just really excited to tackle this debt and put myself in a financial position that is going to reap a lot of rewards. But without further ado, let's just get into the video. So for the month of January, I was supposed to get paid 3 times, the 1st, the 15th, and the 29th. However, I'm not getting paid on the 1st. I'm getting paid on the 31st because of the holiday in there. So I am getting paid early. So I did technically just go off of 2 paychecks, and I set that at $4,000 for my income from the month. Now, I know that it is a little bit more than that. However, I set it at $4,000 because one, I'm not really sure what it's going to come out to be, because in January I do get my annual step increase as well as work, and I decided that this year I'm going to decrease the amount of money that I send to my deferred comp, and also I think I'm going to stop my Roth IRA contributions. I haven't really decided. I'm still contemplating back and forth. I know that January for sure I will contribute to both of those. However, as I said, for the deferred comp, I'm going to decrease the amount. I haven't came up with one that sits well with me yet. And then for the Roth, I'm just deciding whether I want to stop contributing to it completely for this entire year, just because I do have some lofty goals for myself. If you haven't checked out my 2021 financial goals, be sure to check out that video. But yeah, so I just don't have everything down to a precise number to give you the accurate number. So I just went with a rough estimate of what I do believe my income would be. Now, as I said, I did not factor that 31st paycheck into my January budget. I'm just going off of the 5th and the 29th. So essentially there will be an excess amount of money left over, because obviously I'm not going to spend that whole paycheck on the 31st. So there will be some more money going towards my debt that I have. But yeah, let's just actually move on to what what I want to do this month. So the sole thing that I want to do is just to pay $1,000 towards my student loan that is sitting at $8,000 right now. So that will bring my total balance down to $34,000. The next thing that I would like to discuss is my 2021 money goals. Just as a brief overview, I want to save $45,000 for a house, and then I want to pay off my loans of $35,000 to begin with. Those are just the 2 that that you're gonna see on a recurring basis on this channel. So to start off with, these are my expenses for the month. I've decided to pause a few of the things that I normally do just so I can throw more money towards debt. Some of the things you don't see on there are things like insurance and also a car payment, because I don't have a car payment and I pay my insurance every 6 months. So as we get closer to March, when that 6th month is up, then that will be factored in, and that's usually a little under $1,000 for the 6 months for me. But I'm gonna think about other ways that I can kind of cut back too. I mean, I don't have many expenses as it is. However, I feel that the more that I cut back, then obviously the more that I can throw towards my debt, and anything helps. I know if you're like, you've cut out $12, but that $12 is gonna make a difference. So some other ways that I'm hoping over these next few months that I can actually cut out some expenses. The primary one is the cell phone bill. So I pay $185 a month for 3 cell phones. Out of those 3 cell phones, 2 are paid off. One has about $400 to buy it out. And right now, I just don't want to fork up the $400. But as I get, you know, a little closer towards maybe like the 200-ish range, I'll probably just come out of pocket, and that will initially save me about $40-ish. And then also, I mean, I'm with Sprint / T-Mobile, so I'm hoping that when that time comes, I will just actually be on the T-Mobile side, because I asked them already and they're like, no, until you pay off that cell phone, you're on the T-Mobile network, but however, you're still under a Sprint contract. So once I switch over to T-Mobile, I'll be able to use a discount, and then hopefully all 3 phones will be somewhere around maybe like $135 or a little less for all 3 lines. So in the future, that is something that I can do. As far as the other things that I have listed, I mean, outside of maybe the Canva and the Apple Music and the Apple Storage, those would probably potentially only be the only other areas that I could see myself cutting back in, because the other things are more so of a necessity. I mean, my personal expense isn't really a necessity, but as far as personal and groceries goes, I've allotted myself $25 a week. In January, there's about 2.5 weeks. Well, there's 4 full weeks and then 3 days in there, so I just gave myself that $25. Now, with that in mind, the money that I do not spend at the end of the month, I will just put that towards my student loans as well. My savings goal this month, that is $1,000. And the one thing with that, as I said, I do contribute to my deferred comp at work, so that is factored in there. So the difference from whatever I decide to contribute to my deferred comp, I'm thinking around $250 per paycheck for that. So initially that's $500, and then me actually saving $250 as well. So this savings is not just saving to save. This savings is for me to have a down payment on my house that I plan to purchase at the end of this year. So financially in general with this year, I plan on working overtime to help me reach my financial goals. The only problem is that due to the pandemic and things like that, overtime isn't as prevalent as it was before. And I don't see me going out to get a second job, because I'm not going to get paid as much as I do at work for overtime. Like, it's there, but it's not there how it normally is there. And I'm kind of in this like limbo area where it's like, okay, well, if I do go out and get a second job and then all of a sudden things start to pick up here, I'm gonna have to quit that second job regardless of when I got it. But at the same time, I'm like, well, if I don't get it, that could be extra or additional income that I could have coming in going towards my goals. So that's also something that I'm contemplating too. However, it is a process too, and I do have to get it approved by my current job just to make sure there is no conflict of interest there, or wherever I decide to pick up a second job, it doesn't kind of bring disgrace per se to the current organization that I work with. So these are some things that I'm also considering, but if you guys out there have some tips for me, I'm open to hearing those. And also, if you know of some other ways that I could possibly save outside of the things that I already mentioned, I would greatly appreciate that. I hope that this video has helped you, or you find it to be encouraging in some way, shape, or form. But until my next video, I'll catch you guys in the comments.